This is exactly right.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess.
At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Goodbye. The best time to think about home security is before you need it.
That's exactly why there's Simply Safe.
Traditional home security only alerts you after a break-in has already happened, and that's too late. Simply Safe is changing that.
Simply Safe's US-based live agents identify threats on your property and help deter them so intruders never get to your house.
The system is customizable so you can build one that fits your home and your specific needs.
The 24/7 professional monitoring is effective and affordable and won't lock you into a long-term contract.
I think that's what's so scary for so many people is that long-term contract. And like, what if it turns out you don't like it or need it, but they don't have that because they know you'll like it and you'll know that you need it and feel so much safer when you have it. Like at this point in my life, I would never go without a security system on my house. I just feel safer with actually having Simply Safe around.
There's a whole staff at Simply Safe that's waiting to talk to you and help you out. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplysafe.com/MFM.
That's half off at simplysafe.com/MFM.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Goodbye.
Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Right now, you can get great deals on Hyundai's most popular models,
including the adventure-ready SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe or Santa Fe Hybrid and the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid.
Plus, there's the bold and stylish Elantra loaded with the latest tech.
Or go all-electric with the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 9.
So get down to your local Hyundai dealer and get away with a deal you'll love during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details.
Goodbye. Hello.
And welcome
to My Favorite Murder.
That is Georgia Hardstark speaking.
That is Karen Kilgariff.
And we're here to podcast at you.
Near you.
Near
around.
Your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Is for, I don't know, do you have an hour and 45 minutes?
Oh, geez. We're going that long this time?
Well, I mean, let's see.
My story's pretty long.
Is it?
Basics.
You know what? What if this time you just read dates? Just a bunch. It's just a bunch of
dates.
This day. Yeah.
Prices. And
sure.
Then you have to guess how much they are in today's money only.
Truly one of my favorite things.
Oh, sure.
I was going to read you. This is just like first up only because you just did the story of William Minor and the Oxford English Dictionary getting written.
Oh, yeah.
And a person named Melissa Langley writes to us on the near defunct Twitter website X, which it really seems like everyone needs to get off of, including myself. But so she writes, as a sales rep for Oxford University Press, I was so excited to hear you tell the story of William Minor and the Oxford English Dictionary. Beautiful job, Georgia.
Oh, my God.
Right? Also, I wanted to let you know you can vote on the 2023 Word of the Year. And then she forwards the little thing you can, like the poll.
Oh, my God.
So the Word of the Year, and I don't know why this is set up like a versus, but it's like there's 8 total. It's like they're competing against each other.
That's called something in sports, but I don't know. Brackets. There you go.
I mean, you saw the sweatshirt. You know.
you have a sports sweatshirt on, to
I'm so
everyone's
sporty.
Surprise.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've worn color in 4 years. No joke.
It's red. It's very red.
It's shocking, but it's so cozy. There was a sale.
I bet.
So these words are competing against each other. Beige flag versus Riz.
Okay, I don't know Riz. Do you?
It's like a children's thing for style, I think.
Okay. All right. I like beige flag because I see it all the time.
Yes. And then it's just the emoji with the person with their eyebrow raised. And then there's parasocial versus situationship.
Oh, I don't like either of those.
I love both. Then there's de-influencing versus Swiftie.
Okay, let's go Oh, I don't want to. Let's just skip that one.
Well, also maybe it's bad to choose, but also why do we have to choose? Why can't we pick both of those?
Yeah.
And then the last one is prompt, which is like a writing prompt because of ChatGPT, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Versus heat dome. I hope to God isn't some weird sexual thing, and I just don't understand what's happening.
It doesn't say?
No, it just has the emoji of the sun.
Okay.
Anyway, just thought you'd want to know that people who are involved in that book liked your story.
That makes me feel so good. I love it when smart people think I did a good job at a smart topic.
Oh, those smart people can be tough too.
Oh my God. Barely graduated high school, didn't go to college. So it's nice to hear that from smart people.
Yeah. Thanks, smart people.
Thank you. What have you got? I don't have much.
Well, you might like to hear this. The new season of Fargo just came out.
Yes, we watched it last night.
Did you watch both?
Uh-huh.
There's 2.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So good.
So excited.
What's her name? The
Juno Temple.
Juno Temple is doing a great job with that accent, right?
Oh, so good. And Jennifer Jason Leigh, who it thrills me to see her anytime I see her. I'm like, yes.
Magic.
So good. Dave Foley is the creepy Steve Bannon lawyer.
Love it.
It's so... My sister is the one who was like, we have to watch this. And I was like, oh. And then it just starts and it never lets up and it's so good.
Have you watched the new HBO documentary, Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God, which I didn't know about until Karen Kilgariff herself covered it on this show.
Hey.
There's just tons of footage from it.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's fucked up. It's just fucked.
It's so bad. A friend of mine watched it. Oh, it was Brandy Posey that I was talking to last night because I came home and she was dog sitting for me. And she's like, they're interviewing these people and they're clearly still in the cult.
Yeah, they're clearly still.
She's like, they have glassy eyes and, talking about her. And it's just like that aspect of human existence where if you manipulate people and their external circumstances just so, and everybody is susceptible. It doesn't matter how smart you are, dumb you are, anything in between. You can get pulled into something and never stop believing in it.
Totally. I kept waiting for them to have like former member and then that person telling what actually happened. And there's like one girl so far that's like got out. One. Everyone else is like still a member, still goes by their name given to them by Mother God. And it's just wild. It's wild. Fucking wild.
I actually haven't watched the documentary, that one, the new one. But I think because, spoiler alert, she died. It's basically like now she's a martyr. It's not like something bad happened and she went to jail. There was no de-escalation moment where she's confronted, exposed, nothing like that.
That makes sense. And in their minds, she's supposed to come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's the whole thing of, this is actually the prophecy type mentality.
Yeah. And it works. And she does all the culty things of like, you can't eat anymore. We're not sleeping. It's like 24, give me all your money. It's just like the
huge.
The classic.
It's the same thing as like when we have crushes on people and you're just like, I'll never be that dumb again. And then you just immediately turn around and are 10 times dumber the next time. And that's just what it's like to be a person, I think.
That's a great comparison to what it is to fall into a cult. We've all had those crushes, especially the ones that are unrequited.
Yeah.
That are so all-consuming and painful, and you don't sleep, you don't eat. All you do is think about that person. And that kind of makes me understand it a little more, actually, you saying that.
And can I tell you, here's a little TikTok wisdom that I got. Let me see if I took a picture of it because it was such a good sentence. Like as a consumer of kind of self-helpy type stuff, you're always just scanning for that one sentence that's going to like reach out and punch you in the face.
Dude, yes.
And it's so great when that's what happens. Took a lot of pictures of the pie my sister made on Thanksgiving, but I didn't actually do it. Somebody on TikTok who was a kind of a life coach type person said, obsession is a lack of information.
Ooh. Okay.
So if there's somebody that you just can't get over and you're like, you're embarrassed about how obsessed you are, you have to remind yourself it's because you do not know them. And if you watch them, if you sat in a restaurant with them for a week, they would be rude to somebody and it would bum you out, or they would be like, they would have some human moment that would bring them off that pedestal and you would be a little less obsessed, especially with unrequited love. You just get to make up anything you want.
Oh my God. I did that all the fucking time, all the time.
It's fun.
And somehow they're better than you, where it's like, why? Why do you, because you don't have as much information about them as you need. That's so true. Wow. Well, this is a relationship podcast now. So send us your relationship questions.
It's going to be one of those really good relationship podcasts where I repeat unattributed, really good advice that other people have already given and are making money off of giving.
Right, right.
That one's smart. That's actually helpful.
It is helpful. That is very smart. All right. Do you have anything else that you're doing? Saying, seeing, loving?
No, I just
meeting?
spent the holiday with my family in Petaluma, and it was just lovely and relaxing and everything I needed it to be.
I'm so glad.
How was yours?
Good. We went to Cantor's Jewish Deli for Thanksgiving Day lunch.
Yep.
That was great. My mom and I ordered a margarita at Cantor's for Thanksgiving. What is up?
It all came together.
Yeah. And then Vince and I made our own Thanksgiving dinner that night, and it was lovely. Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah.
It feels to me like the upcoming era that we are moving into is a permanent pajamas era. I don't think anyone's interested in putting out any effort at all anymore, nor should they.
I don't have my like rotation of outfits anymore. It's all indoor clothes.
Yeah.
Like since the pandemic, I don't have, like when I have to put on an actual outfit that like has a waistline or needs a bra, I'm lost.
You're just like, how would one do this? How would one go about this?
And I get mad. Like I never have to do it, but I'm like, oh, why do I have to put a bra on? It's like society. It's like, no, you used to like this. You used to really like getting dressed up.
The fucking man trying to make me put on foundation garments. What a bunch of bullshit.
It is bullshit. I want to wear my fucking comfortable swabs that I got off an Instagram ad, you know?
I mean, I like the way people, it seems, in public these days are going out with a blanket wrapped around their shoulders. Like I'm seeing a lot of shawl work in airports and on the streets these days of people that are just like, what if I become uncomfortable at some point when I'm at Target? I better wrap this blanket around my shoulders.
So we're going from pajamas outside to wearing our entire bed outside.
Yes. Yes.
You just roll into your comforter and walk out the door.
Figure out a way to put your pillow in your hoodie so you can lean back against a wall if it gets really exhausting. Okay. I mean, people don't have it to give anymore. No. It's all too much.
The whole it's a mess.
It's a goddamn mess.
And we're here to contribute to that.
I mean, if we can, in any way, lighten your load.
With true crime.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Should we do highlights?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a podcast network. It's called Exactly Right Media. Here are some highlights. Unburied Bones, Kate and Paul discuss Roberta Elder, a woman serial killer in Georgia who was finally arrested in 1952.
And on a related note, on Wicked Words, Kate's joined by David Nelson, who's the author of the book Boys Enter the House, The Victims of John Wayne Gacy and the Lives They Left Behind. Ooh, I want to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actor, podcaster, and LGBTQ advocate T.S. Madison is Roz's guest on Ghosted by Roz Hernandez.
Okay, sorry. Sidebar, I saw a TikTok of a clip of Living for the Dead, Roz's supernatural investigation show. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting in a bar and she's like, no one's talking to me. You know, she's like being all Roz. She's like offended because the ghost was showing up for everybody else. But when Roz was in there by herself, the ghost wasn't showing up for her. And she goes, God, what's the problem? Is it my hair? And then the machine goes, bzzz. And she goes, what? It's the funniest clip. Like, that show is so good.
It's so good. She's so hilarious.
She's so funny. And also, just to wrap this up, do you have a Murderino bestie who isn't a member of the fan cult yet? Well, then you should consider buying them a gift membership for the holidays. You can visit fancult.supercast.com and click gift a subscription today.
Woohoo.
The Hulu original series Furious is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. From Liz Merriweather, the Emmy-nominated executive producer of Dying for Sex and The Dropout, comes a gripping psychological thriller.
Starring Emmy Rossum, Furious follows Alice Black, a rookie FBI agent on the hunt for Catherine, a mysterious and calculating female serial killer.
It's Alice's first case on the job, and she's already bitten off more than she can chew.
While Alice believes justice is achieved through law enforcement, Catherine has lost all faith in the legal system.
She's taken it upon herself to terrorize the rich and powerful men of New York in her pursuit of vengeance.
As Alice and Catherine's twisted game of cat and mouse unfolds, the lines between good and evil and right and wrong begin to blur.
With shocking crimes, tangled relationships, and secrets that change everything, Alice discovers there's a thin line between hunter and prey.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious.
Now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Goodbye. In the summer, healthy habits are easy to keep. Until you leave the house.
You walk out the door, and the next thing you know, you're barefoot and feral in a gas station candy aisle.
That's why Kachava makes it easy to maintain your routines.
Kachava is an all-in-one nutrition shake, and now it comes in new travel packs.
Every packet gives you a simple shake with protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, greens, probiotics, omegas, electrolytes, and more.
They're easy to toss into a bag, easy to take on the road, and a simple way to stick with your normal wellness habits, even when your schedule changes.
Man, that Kachava matcha in the individual packs is like my dream snack. It's exactly what I need and want in between the not great meals I'm eating for lunch and the snacks I would have had anyways that are terrible for me. Like, this is something I feel like I'm treating myself when I take.
You're treating yourself to vitamins, fiber, all these things that your body really wants and needs and kind of craves that it does seem like it takes a big effort to get. So now you're getting it all in one packet and in a little drink you like.
Take your daily ritual with you.
Go to Kachava.com and use code MFM for 15% off your first order.
That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com, code MFM.
Goodbye.
If you're always on the lookout for a great audiobook or just want help figuring out what to listen to next, there's a podcast you should know about.
It's called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Book Club, hosted by Cal Penn.
Each episode takes a closer look at some of the most talked about new audiobooks on Audible, spanning a wide range of genres from sci-fi and literary fiction to rom-coms, thrillers, and comedy.
Cal is joined by guests who dig into what these stories are about, what makes them stand out as audiobooks, and why they're connecting with listeners right now.
If you're looking for your next listen, this is a great place to start.
Listen to Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audiobook Club on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Goodbye. So you're first, right? Yeah.
I am, yeah.
I'm going to sit back and listen.
Here we go. This story I'm going to tell you today goes back to 1980s Detroit, actually.
Interesting.
As your husband Vince knows, it was a time of huge economic turmoil in the American auto industry. And as jobs were being lost, factories were closing, the once secure middle class began to lose everything. It was the kind of economic downturn that caused people to go looking for a scapegoat. This is a story of the anti-Asian racism that this downturn brought out of some Detroiters. It's the story of the murder of Vincent Chin.
Wow.
The main sources used in the story today are Paula Yu's 2021 book, From a Whisper to a Rallying Cry, a 2022 New Yorker article by writer Hua Xu entitled The Many Afterlives of Vincent Chin, and the 1987 PBS documentary, Who Killed Vincent Chin. And the rest of the sources are in our show notes. The real beginning of this story starts in Michigan in 1950s, where a man named Bing Hing Chin, who goes by the name David, and his wife Lily live together. They're both from China. Lily's been in the States for about 2 years. David has lived here for 28 years. He first moved to Seattle in 1922 when he was 17 years old. Then he relocates to New York. He serves in the army during World War II. When the war ends, he goes back to China. He marries his wife, Lily, and then he brings her back to the United States, and they together move to Detroit, which was a new city for both of them. So post-war Detroit is a boom town thanks to the auto industry. And here's what journalist Neil Boudet writes about it. Quote, getting a job in an auto plant was a ticket to the middle class. You could get out of high school, take one of these jobs, and be assured of living a very comfortable life. You could raise your family, have some nice vacations, and send your kids to college. End quote.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
It's the way it should be. Yeah. Why shouldn't you get paid? You work an honest day, 8-hour, 10-hour. I'm sure people that worked on like in auto factories were working 12, 16-hour days.
Totally.
Why shouldn't you get paid a ton of money and get benefits and get vacation time?
You know what's happening? The company you're working for is making billions.
It's the fucking auto industry. They're making so much money.
Yeah.
So David and Lily Chin share in that same vision of the American dream for themselves. Chinese-American journalist and civil rights activist Helen Zia, who plays a big role in this story, tells PBS, quote, "For the early Asian immigrants who came to Detroit, there was hope of the auto industry and the prosperity that they might be able to gain from that. Some of them got jobs in the auto plants, but for the most part, it was in service industries around the higher paying work in Detroit. Primarily for Chinese, it was laundries and restaurants. For Asians who came here, they were looking for the same thing, a hope, a promise, a dream of a better life." So very standard American immigrant story that most of our families have, somewhere in their backgrounds. But this is a dream that's not always easy to believe in because the Chins experience a lot of anti-Asian racism in the United States. But in spite of this, they learn to love their adoptive country. And in the early 60s, they decide to expand their family. After trying for a while, they find out that they can't have kids, so then they adopt a 6-year-old boy from China named Vincent, and they immediately fall in love with him. So we fast forward about 20 years. It's the early 80s. Life in the Detroit metro area is now very, very different from when David and Lily first moved there in the mid-century. An oil crisis has led to serious recession that's affecting the American auto industry. Instead of defaulting to vehicles that are made in the United States, which are basically gas-guzzling dinosaurs, more and more Americans are buying up fuel-efficient, affordable European and Japanese cars by manufacturers like Toyota, Volkswagen, and Honda. So I didn't really think about the fact that before the 80s, Japanese cars weren't that common.
Yeah.
It was so much more Ford, Dodge, GM, like Chrysler, all these Chrysler, right? All these brands that like some of them are gone entirely now. And it was because that crazy era of the oil crisis, it really was like, now we absolutely have to have a product that works better and isn't so expensive.
Totally. Huh. Yeah.
But of course, this has a devastating effect on the American auto worker. According to the UAW, quote, by the end of 1982, 24% of U.S. auto workers had lost their jobs.
Wow.
End quote. So basically hundreds of thousands of people, many of them in the Detroit metro area, lose their jobs. And then the city itself loses around 300,000 residents between 1970 and 1980 alone. The big three automakers, which at the time are Ford, Chrysler, and GM, blame these troubles on the labor unions, and the labor unions in turn blame the companies for failing to modernize. The unions can back their grievances up in writing. Union member Sandra Engel writes, quote, as early as 1949, the UAW urged automakers to build fuel-efficient cars, publishing a pamphlet called, quote, A Small Car Named Desire, end quote. So they were begging them to like update and get rid of these. I mean, remember how big those cars were?
Yes.
They were like so long.
Those cars were enormous. We had a Oldsmobile when I was a kid, like a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
And that thing was enormous, like closing the door. As a little kid, you had to use your whole body to close the door.
And God forbid you got your fingers in that.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, truly, it was like you would lose your fingers if you got your fingers shut in that car door.
Because someone would lock the door and then close it. So you couldn't just open the door and get your fingers out. This happened. You had to get your mom's keys, unlock the door.
Did that happen to you?
It happened to me or my brother. I think it was me.
If it was your brother, you felt it as if it was you.
Yes, for sure.
So no one gets more flack from auto executives and auto workers, even U.S. politicians, than foreign automakers, with Japanese manufacturers drawing out the most hatred. Toyotas are sledgehammered in events sponsored by Detroit area radio stations. Bumper stickers reading, quote, Toyota, Nissan, remember Pearl Harbor, are seen around town. Yeah. So according to writer Washu of The New Yorker, quote, foreign cars were prohibited from entering the parking lot of the United Auto Workers headquarters, end quote.
Oh my God. Wow.
So this kind of scapegoating was rampant and it was openly hostile. So by 1982, Vincent Chin has grown into a handsome 27-year-old man. He's popular, he's charismatic, he's very driven, and he works as a draftsman for a Detroit-based auto engineering firm during the week. And then on the weekend, he has a job at a restaurant because his wedding is just a few days away. He is marrying his girlfriend of 3 years, Vicky Wong, and they plan on buying a house together. So he is working as much as he can. The excitement and hopefulness of this new chapter in his life is just what Vincent needs, because his father, David, who I was talking about his parents, David and Lily, at the beginning of this, his father, David, passed away from kidney disease 8 months before. He and his mom, Lily, who now lives with him, are still in mourning. But tonight the mood is light. Vincent gets off of work early, and he decides to have an impromptu bachelor party before his wedding. So as he goes to leave the house, he says goodbye to his mom, but she expresses some concern with him going out and getting drunk, that it worries her. And Vincent tells her, quote, "I promise it'll be the last time," end quote. But Lily doesn't like this. She tells her son, "Don't say last time, it's bad luck," end quote. So Vincent Chin meets up with his friends, Jimmy Choi, Gary Koivu, and Robert Swarovski. And as they walk to their destination, they pass abandoned shops with broken windows and closed auto factories. And then they finally get to where they're going, a strip club called the Fancy Pants Club.
Oh, dear.
Which I just need to take a sidebar to say it's my favorite name of a strip club or of anything really I've ever read
Fancy
in
pants.
research.
Yeah.
The Fancy Pants Club. It's like, who's that for? The men going there?
Right. We don't want pants in this. Like, pants are not part of this.
The pants aren't for the girls.
No.
So it's the men have the fancy pants on?
It's gotta be.
Is that a compliment? Is that a manly thing? It's so hilarious. Okay. So it's some dudes out for a night on the town to have a good time. It's the early 80s. It's a bachelor party. Vincent and his crew get seated near the stage, and a little while after they sit down, a 43-year-old white man named Ronald Ebens and his 22-year-old stepson, Michael Nitz, take the table opposite them. Ronald's a supervisor at the local Chrysler plant, and Michael, who was recently laid off from his job at Chrysler, now works at a furniture company. The two decided to check out this club after ditching a very bad and bleak Detroit Tigers game.
Oof.
I still think it's gross that it's a father-son team going to a strip club.
Yeah.
What? Is that really something you want to do with your father?
It's very weird. I mean, doing it with your friends is bad enough. It's creepy, but
I don't know. I guess everyone celebrates differently. Maybe they had really fancy pants on that night and they were like, look.
Let's not waste these. Yeah.
So we all know where this is going.
Yeah.
The bad vibes begin. At first, everything's fine. Vincent and his friends are enjoying themselves. Somewhere in the night, things get tense between the two groups of men. The details are hazy, and it's very much he said, he said. Vincent and Ronald end up focused on each other, and they exchange increasingly hostile and heated words. Ronald is heard yelling, quote, "It's because of you little motherfuckers that we're out of work," end quote. So, of course, Ronald seems to be referencing Japanese automakers who are definitely and very overtly being scapegoated for the layoffs in the American auto industry. But Vincent Chin is Chinese American. He's not Japanese. And according to author Paula Yu, quote, "To this day, what happened next remains unclear." Ronald would later claim that Vincent sucker punched him in the mouth with his fist while he was still sitting down. But Vincent's friends remember it differently, end quote. And the idea of that, where it's a hotbed of racial problems in this city, and the Chinese American kid is going to go up and sucker punch a white man in a club, is ludicrous.
Yeah. It doesn't ring true.
It doesn't ring true. I mean, hey, look, he could have, maybe if he was drinking and stuff, but it just doesn't make a ton of sense. However, it actually started. This fight heats up until finally a chair is thrown, and that chair hits Michael Nitz and splits his forehead open.
Oh, dear.
It is not clear who threw that chair, But within a few minutes of this brawl starting, everyone involved gets kicked out of the Fancy Pants Club. Gary would say afterwards, quote, "I was hoping once the fight broke up in the bar, that was it, and we both go our separate ways and go home. It didn't turn out that way," end quote. So instead, the guys are all standing out in the parking lot, having just gotten kicked out of the club. They continue to insult each other. And then Ronald grabs a baseball bat out of his car and storms at Vincent, who now knows this situation is spiraling out of control.
Oh, no.
So Vincent takes off running down the street, and his friend Jimmy goes running behind him. And the pair wind up outrunning Ronald, who then turns around and walks back to the parking lot. Now, Gary and Robert are still just standing in the parking lot. They're trying to figure out where their friends ran to, like where they could have gone. Mm-hmm. And then they watch Ronald return to the parking lot and get into the car with Michael. And then the car tears out of the parking lot and down the street. So according to Ronald's story, he heads in the direction of a nearby hospital to get his stepson some stitches in his forehead. What we know for sure is that about a half an hour after leaving the Fancy Pants Club parking lot, Ronald still hasn't made it to the hospital. Instead, the two men spot Vincent and Jimmy sitting on the curb outside a nearby McDonald's, and they pull the car over.
Oh, fuck.
This is only a half a mile from the strip club, which makes many people think and theorize that Ronald and Michael were driving around looking for Vincent.
Right.
As Ronald pulls up to the two men, he sees them laughing, and he will later admit, quote, "All I could think of was that they were laughing because they really pulled one over on us," end quote. But what Ronald and Michael don't know here is that there's a black off-duty cop named Morris Cotton who's watching them from the McDonald's parking lot. Morris is working a second job as a security guard that night, and he will later tell PBS that Ronald and Michael, quote, "jumped out of the car, and it kind of shocked me because it's a predominantly 90% black neighborhood, and to see these male whites get out of a car with a baseball bat, the first thing I was thinking was that maybe they were coming from the Tiger Stadium baseball game," end quote.
Jesus.
So the security guard is like, this, I can't really be seeing what I think I'm seeing.
Right.
In front of multiple witnesses, Michael ambushes Vincent from behind, grabs him in what Cotton describes as a, quote, bear hug. Vincent wiggles out of Michael's arms and rushes toward the street. He runs into traffic. Cars swerve, slam on their brakes to avoid hitting him. They start honking. At this point, Morris Cotton is yelling at the white men to stand down. They do not listen. And then, according to Morris Cotton, quote, "Mr. Ebens swung a bat repeatedly, striking Mr. Chin. He swung the bat as if a baseball player was swinging for a home run, full contact, full swing."
Oh, no, I hate this.
End quote. Yeah, it's a nightmare. So by now, another off-duty cop named Michael Gardenhire, who's actually eating at the McDonald's, he steps into the parking lot to back up Morris Cotton. Mm-hmm. And as a crowd of around a dozen or so people start to kind of gather and go toward this horrific scene, the officers draw their guns and they basically call for Ronald to put the bat down. So finally, Ronald backs away from Vincent's body and drops the baseball bat. God. Vincent is bleeding profusely. His pupils are dilated. He has serious wounds on his head, shoulders, and chest. Jimmy rushes towards his friend, holds him in his arms, and right before losing consciousness, Vincent Chin says, quote, "It isn't fair." So just past 10 p.m. that night, the doorbell at the Chin home rings, and Lily, who's in bed reading the newspaper, she figures it's just Vincent and that he lost his keys and he can't get in the front door. So when she goes down to answer the door, she's surprised to see a man named Paul Ng, who is Vincent's boss at the restaurant he works at and a very close friend. And Paul tells Lily her son has been in a fight and he's injured. He's not sure how bad the injuries are, but he is there to take her to Ford Hospital so they can find out what's going on. Lily later says, quote, "I was thinking the wedding's only a week away. If Vincent's badly injured, he won't look good at the wedding," end quote. When they arrive at the hospital, Lily's shocked to learn that her son has been gravely injured, and as much as doctors are working to stabilize him, things don't look good. Vincent's given a 5% chance of survival. And that prognosis never improves. On June 23rd, 1982, an extraordinarily difficult decision is made to take Vincent Chin off life support. and he dies. He is 27 years old. And so now instead of attending his wedding, his loved ones are left to plan his funeral.
Oy vey.
Yeah. So to many onlookers, there's a strong case here for first or maybe second degree murder charges. Ronald Ebens and Michael Nitz had time to cool down after the fight inside the strip club, but instead they drove around for a half an hour, found Vincent, and beat him to death.
Premeditation.
Yeah. But as part of a plea deal, Ebens pleads guilty to manslaughter, and Michael Nitz, who played a role in the attack but did not technically hold the murder weapon, pleads no contest. The sentencing hearing is scheduled for March 16th, 1983, and Ronald, Michael, and their attorneys are present, but a prosecutor is not. So we do have to remember this is Detroit in the 80s. So this is probably a system that's overwhelmed. You know, they don't have like a ton of funding. This isn't the richest, you know, this is probably one of the poorest cities in America. And basically the prosecutor's office is so overburdened that the prosecutor, like, they just don't have people representing the prosecutor's office going to every single sentencing hearing.
Wow.
So they just can't make it. They don't go. Plus, no one informs Vincent's friends or family.
No.
So there's no voice representing Vincent Chin during Ronald and Michael's sentencing.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is so that the family can give a statement and you can see that this was a human that had people who loved them and what was taken away. I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah. So according to Paula Yu, the judge presiding over this hearing was known to be lenient with first-time offenders. He looks at Ronald and Michael's otherwise clean records and determines that they, quote, aren't the kind of men you send to jail.
He killed someone with a baseball bat.
Right. They killed someone with a baseball bat. You fit the punishment, and still a Miller quote, you fit the punishment to the criminal, not the crime, end quote.
Incorrect completely. Oh my God.
I feel like this is the 80s. Okay. We're not talking about the 30s.
Yeah, right.
This is the kind of thing that when I see it, I'm just like, yeah, that's why we are the way we are. That's why like all of this stuff takes much longer for these older generations. And it's not an excuse, but like we literally grew up in a time where this kind of shit, where that sentence, these aren't the kind of men you send to jail, it wasn't being heard by anybody but the people in that courtroom.
Yeah.
And everyone in that courtroom is like, okay, I guess. What he's saying is these are two white men.
Totally.
I'm not sending them to jail.
What they're saying is that the victim doesn't matter in this at all.
Yes. And I'm immediately protecting these white, straight, male defendants.
Especially because, like, it's also a racist practice to say that they look at their criminal record because they're white men. So their criminal record, because of that alone, is probably way, non-existent or way smaller than it would be if it was a person of color, because they are targeted by the police and their record is larger because of that. It's like the record doesn't really tell you anything other than they haven't been prosecuted.
Yeah. How many times did I know people in high school that would get into big trouble, get kind of like arrested and then just let go?
Slap on the wrist.
And the same thing would never be happening to a Black teenage boy.
No.
Never.
That's exactly right.
So the judge orders these two men to pay a $3,000 fine and around $800 in court costs. It all equals about $12,000 in today's money. Plus, they have to do 3 years probation. Neither defendant receives any jail time. And this sends shockwaves through the community, of course, especially the Asian community. Vincent's bereaved fiance, Vicky, of course, is devastated, and Vincent's mother, Lily, is so distraught that she actually goes and stays with her mother in China. And she says, quote, I'm Chinese. This happened because my son is Chinese, not American. If two Chinese killed a white person, they must go to jail, maybe for their whole lives. But only the skin's different. The heart is no different as an American. My husband fought for this country. We always paid our taxes and worked hard. We never had any trouble. Before, I really loved America, but now it has made me very angry. Something is wrong with this country, end quote. And Lily's outrage is felt widely and deeply. In the wake of Ronald and Michael's lenient sentencing, activists, community organizers, and lawyers representing Asian and Asian American communities around Detroit come together to protest the lack of justice in Vincent Chin's case. And this is huge because at this time, in the 80s, people of Asian heritage in Detroit, they identified themselves by their specific national, ethnic, or linguistic backgrounds as opposed to the general Asian American kind of inclusive language that we use today. That had not hit the mainstream, but Vincent Chin's murder will change that. Helen Zia says that, quote, people knew from personal experience that we were lumped together. But in terms of identifying as Pan-Asian, the key thing was that a man was killed because his murderers thought he looked like a different ethnicity,
right?
End quote. So it's kind of the ironic, like painful fact in that, where it's like, well, if you're lumping us all together, we should lump ourselves all together so we have more power and we can move as a stronger group of people than just I'm Chinese, I'm Japanese, each person from their separate country. Yeah. Soon, Vincent's mom, Lily, does return to the U.S., and activists like Helen Zia band together and form the Asian American Civil Rights Advocacy Group, American Citizens for Justice, the ACJ. Writer Washu describes one of the group's first meetings. He reports that, quote, young professionals from the suburbs, elderly conservatives, and Marxist activists all came to learn about what could be done, end quote. But to get justice for Vincent, obviously. So it was essentially this galvanizing moment where it's like our individual beliefs need to be set aside and we all need to band together.
It could have been any of us kind of a thing.
Right, exactly. And then just to acknowledge to each other and support each other in the fact that this sentiment isn't just a radio station being quote unquote funny. That has now, it's resulted in a murder. And it's gotten into the brains of people who are not thinking logically or calmly. They're being reactive, they're drunk, they're angry, they want revenge. Right. And whoever's in front of them that they think deserves that revenge is going to get it.
Yeah.
But even with the advocacy that the ACJ begins to enact, there won't be a retrial for Ronald and Michael because of double jeopardy, plus a sentence already been handed down, and it's very rare that a court will change a sentence after the fact. But the ACJ knows that there is another venue to explore. They can try to have Vincent's murder prosecuted as a federal civil rights violation. So today we call these hate crimes, but back then, being the early 80s, that language wasn't in place. And convincing the Department of Justice to pursue a civil rights case isn't easy. Despite a long and open history of anti-Asian racism and discrimination in the United States, Asian Americans are not a protected class at this time.
Wow.
And many legal experts aren't convinced that a court would buy the theory that a white man would be motivated by racism to kill an Asian American man.
Wow.
It's self-serving thinking, basically saying, of course no one's being racist against Asians. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's a denial of what actual people experience and in total opposition of what the murderer said to Vincent during the confrontation. So it's like right there. It's right there.
Everyone witnessed what the source of it was and what the problem was. And yet the official kind of stance on it was, it seems like the stance was being looked at through the racism lens of how white people are racist against Black people. And then they're basically saying, well, it's not like that, so that's not racism.
Right.
Which is just like, why are you the one deciding? Yeah. So to the activists, lawyers, and organizers at the ACJ, this is a matter of waking people up to the often ignored discrimination Asian Americans and people of Asian heritage face every single day in this country. So they stage huge protests in Detroit. They get signatures on petitions. They take trips to Washington, D.C., and they work tirelessly to convince the Department of Justice to investigate Vincent Chin's killing. And what's beautiful is that the ACJ isn't doing this alone. Activists from Detroit's Black and Latino communities, as well as members of local churches and synagogues, are also going with the ACJ to support this call to justice.
Wow.
So people are really coming together. And then soon this local Detroit activism morphs into a national movement. People in cities as far away as San Francisco and Los Angeles are banding together to speak out about this lack of justice in Detroit. There's such an uproar that the Department of Justice does, in fact, open an official investigation into Vincent Chin's death. And this new investigation does result in federal charges against both Ronald Ebens and his stepson, Michael Nitz.
Wow.
And with that, Vincent Chin's case becomes the first federal civil rights trial on behalf of an Asian American in U.S. history.
Holy shit.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
It's jaw-dropping. So during this trial, the defense team for Ronald Ebens and Michael Nitz wholly rejects the idea that Vincent's death was a hate crime. They also deny that Michael and Ronald ever said anything racist at the strip club. They call into question any witness testimony that suggests otherwise. And in his own defense, Ronald will later blame drunkenness and some sort of version of toxic masculinity, but not racism, as the cause of why he murdered Vincent Chin. As Paula Yu points out in her book, Vincent bucked the stereotype of the, quote, model minority for an Asian man. Perhaps this enraged these two white men. She writes this, quote, "You have to wonder, would Ronald and Michael still have pulled over seeing two white men laughing?
Right.
Was there confirmation bias of how Asian American men should act, that they should be meek, that they should not rock the boat, they should be emasculated? Those were the terrible racist stereotypes of Asian American men back then, and Vincent defied all of that. He was an all-American guy," end quote. So in June of 1984, a verdict is handed down. Once again, Michael Nitz is acquitted, but this time Ronald Ebens is convicted of violating Vincent's civil rights, and he is handed a 25-year prison sentence.
Oh my God.
But he will never spend a day in prison. Ronald's attorneys convince an appeals court that their client deserves a new trial because they claim Vincent's three friends were coached by the prosecutors on how to address the court about their memories from the strip club, and therefore that corrupted their testimonies. Ebens' conviction is overturned on a legal technicality. A retrial is held in 1987, and the case and the whole trial is moved to Cincinnati. There, an all-white, mostly male jury doesn't feel convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Ronald was, in fact, motivated by racism when he killed Vincent, and he is ultimately cleared of all federal charges.
There should never be an all-white jury ever again. And I don't know what the stats are on that, but that's fucking insane.
Well, especially when it's about, is this a hate crime? Is this a racially motivated thing?
Right. Little bias there.
I mean, bias, blindness. So for those seeking justice for Vincent, this, of course, is a terrible blow. It's not only clear who killed Vincent and that the murder was brutal and violent, but the men who murdered him continue to evade any legal consequence. So with few avenues left to explore, the ACJ takes Ronald Ebens to civil court. And there, he ultimately agrees to pay a settlement of $1.5 million to Lily Chin. That would be about $4 million in today's money, but that doesn't matter because to this day, Ronald Ebens has not paid her $1 of that money.
Jesus.
And Lily Chin permanently moves back to China.
Wow.
But she will remain close friends with the members of the ACJ for the rest of her life. Lily Chin passes away in 2002, about 20 years after her son's murder. Thanks to her bravery and resilience, as well as the many passionate activists who worked hard to keep the public interested and aware of Vincent Chin's case, his story will never be forgotten. It's now known as a seminal moment in American history where thousands of people from different communities, Asian American as well as many allies, came together to fight for civil rights. Helen Zia, who is now the executor of the Chin estate, has said that, quote, "One of the reasons that I continue to talk about all of this is because I don't want the legacy of Vincent Chin to stay in the experience of racism and injustice. That's not the only part of his legacy. The major part is that our community did something about it. We came together," end quote. And their activism really did actually change our country. In Michigan, sentencing rules for manslaughter are changed. Prosecutors are now required to be present at sentencing hearings. And nationally, because of this case, victims' family members are allowed to give impact statements to the judge.
Wow.
During those sentencing hearings.
That's incredible.
This case is the reason that is like a right that the victims' families have now.
Fuck yeah.
And importantly, Vincent's case brought to light the violence and racism that Asian Americans are subjected to every day in this country. Author Paula Yu, who's being interviewed for NPR's Code Switch by journalist Karen Grigsby Bates, who actually, they were friends. So Karen was interviewing Paula about her book, From a Whisper to a Rallying Cry. And they were discussing the extensive research that Paula did for this book, including an in-person meeting with Ronald Ebens. She says, quote, "I'm one of the first and only people to have met Ronald in person in his house, and it was an off-the-record informal visit, so I can't talk about what we talked about. But that was one of the most profound, deep, and very disturbing moments in my life." And when Karen Grigsby Bates observes that in Paula's book, she actually writes with compassion for both Ronald and Michael, and she kind of asks her about how she's able to do that, Paula Yu replies, quote, "You can have compassion, but compassion is not mutually exclusive from justice. At the end of the day, now that I know the humanity behind these two men, I can have compassion for them, but I can still think you still should have gone to jail. What you did was wrong. Justice was not served." End quote. And that's the story of the 1982 murder of Vincent Chin.
Wow. Wow. I can't believe I've never heard of that before.
Same.
That is fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm glad some legal stuff was changed because of that. I mean, if there's any kind of positive thing coming out of it, it's...
I mean, I think that is what all of the people that are, involved in the legacy of that case, that's what they all say, is that as horrible as it was and as frustrating as like it played out in real time, the overall effect, it really actually did a lot of change for good in a lot of different ways that, you have to look at that silver lining.
Yeah. Wow. Well, amazing job.
Thank you. The Hulu original series Furious is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. From Liz Merriweather, the Emmy-nominated executive producer of Dying for Sex and The Dropout, comes a gripping psychological thriller.
Starring Emmy Rossum, Furious follows Alice Black, a rookie FBI agent on the hunt for Catherine, a mysterious and calculating female serial killer.
It's Alice's first case on the job, and she's already bitten off more than she can chew.
While Alice believes justice is achieved through law enforcement, Catherine has lost all faith in the legal system.
She's taken it upon herself to terrorize the rich and powerful men of New York in her pursuit of vengeance.
As Alice and Catherine's twisted game of cat and mouse unfolds, the lines between good and evil and right and wrong begin to blur.
With shocking crimes, tangled relationships, and secrets that change everything, Alice discovers there's a thin line between hunter and prey.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious.
Now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Goodbye. If you're always on the lookout for a great audiobook or just want help figuring out what to listen to next, there's a podcast you should know about.
It's called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Book Club, hosted by Cal Penn.
Each episode takes a closer look at some of the most talked about new audiobooks on Audible, spanning a wide range of genres from sci-fi and literary fiction to rom-coms, thrillers, and comedy.
Cal is joined by guests who dig into what these stories are about, what makes them stand out as audiobooks, and why they're connecting with listeners right now.
If you're looking for your next listen, this is a great place to start.
Listen to Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audiobook Club on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Goodbye.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. All right. Well, we're going to change directions like we love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, Karen, and everyone, the story of the biggest art theft in history.
Yes.
Which has subsequently become the art world's biggest and most enduring mystery. This is the 1990 heist at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston.
Yes.
My main sources for the story are a trove of reporting from the Boston Globe, mainly by a reporter named Stephen Kirkjian, and a podcast series made by WBUR and the Globe called Last Seen, which is fucking incredible. I listened to it when it came out. It's so good. And the rest of the sources can be found in our show notes. So real quickly, I'm going to tell you about the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. It's a small collection, and it was amassed by a storied and eccentric turn-of-the-century Boston heiress who purposely built a reproduction Venetian palace to house her collection so that the public could view it. And it's just a gorgeous building. It's amazing. She seems like she was a badass. It's all the things. That's its own story.
I mean, just so generous to build the public a Venetian palace reproduction. So giving.
Just what they needed. No, but that's her thing. All right, cool. So let's get into the heist. So it's just past 1 a.m. on Sunday, March 18th, 1990. So it's basically Saturday night at 1 a.m. You know how time works. So essentially, it is the night of St. Patrick's Day in fucking Boston.
It's St. Patrick's Day Eve or St. Patrick's Day night?
It's St. Patrick's Day is happening since Saturday night on. And so now we're at 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
So this is vomit is flowing in the streets.
Right.
There's people climbing lampposts. There's strangers making out in alleyways. It's happening.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it still. This is what we're surrounded by. And in 1990, so no one's got cell phones. No one's fucking texting you up. It's just like party, party, party.
You got to do it while you're there. You're smoking your Camel Wide. You're trying to introduce yourself to somebody on the smoking patio. It's all got to be right then.
That's right. So 2 security guards are on duty at this Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. As I said, it's a smaller museum, but it houses one of Boston's most important art collections. So it is a big deal. The guards are Rick Abbott, and the other one's name is Randy. He doesn't like to have his last name used in these stories. Rick is 23, Randy's 25, and they're the only 2 people responsible for protecting the museum's collection of sculptures and paintings worth millions and millions that night.
Yep, that's how we do it.
23 and 25-year-old, definitely.
It's just symbolic. It's a symbolic protection, and you're just supposed to respect it.
Right. It's also Randy's first time on the night shift as well.
Oh.
So that's what we're dealing with. Besides being very young and, in Randy's case, inexperienced, the 2 are not who you'd immediately expect to be in charge of an extensive collection of valuable art. Rick and Randy are both musicians. No shame, fine. Randy is a jazz musician, and this is his day job. And he's actually not supposed to be on duty that night, but there's a security guard who had been scheduled called out sick, which is like bullshit. You went and partied, probably, right?
Yeah, calling out sick on St. Patrick's Day?
No.
Only the day after.
So Rick, who's the more experienced guard, he had dropped out of the Berklee College of Music. He's in a jam band, and he looks every bit of the part of a jam band. He has long curly hair, which was so popular in the 90s. He looks like he can play a mean hacky sack. On the night of the robbery, he's wearing his security uniform shirt open over a tie-dye shirt.
Yes.
He's got tie-dye. He has a fanny pack on. He's got red corduroy pants on and white high tops. And Allie, my researcher, said he looks a lot like Otto, the school bus driver character from The Simpsons. And she is not wrong.
That's literally what I was imagining. It's like, it's always a brunette dude with like a spiral perm. That's so funny.
Yeah. Like he had no sheets on his bed. You know it. So it's 1:25 in the morning. 2 Boston police officers buzz at the museum's side door. Rick is behind the desk while Randy is making his rounds. Rick communicates with the police officers briefly through the museum's intercom system. The police say they're investigating a disturbance on the museum grounds outside and need to come in, which totally tracks because all night long there had been a rowdy keg party nearby, of course.
Yay.
And so it doesn't seem unreasonable that maybe some drunk person had gone over the fence in the museum's garden. Also, earlier in the evening, a smoke alarm had gone off at the carriage house on the museum grounds. So, it could be some event that makes sense.
Stuff's going on.
Right. So immediately when they come in, they ask him to radio Randy and tell him to come over as well. One of the officers tells Rick that he needs to see his ID, so asks him to come over and show his ID, which gets Rick away from the desk and, of course, away from the museum's panic button. So as Rick gets closer to the officer, he says that he remembers noticing that his mustache that he was wearing looks fake. The officer tells Rick that they have a warrant for his arrest, and they tell him to put his hands against the wall. No. And then Randy walks into the room and sees what's happening. The officers tell him to do the same thing. He's like, there must be a mistake, but he lets them handcuff him, and they're both handcuffed.
Can I make one statement?
Yeah.
Those dudes were security guards at a museum, a nighttime museum, and it was St. Patrick's Day. They were stoned out of their minds. That's personal conjecture. That is judgment. There's no proof of that. This is alleged, my theory.
I didn't even consider that. That's a really good point.
Long auto style hair. Come on.
Okay, so they're both handcuffed. Then the police officers, who are, of course, as we know, not actually police officers, say, quote, this is a robbery.
Don't you think it'd be like just slightly unnerving if you were walking towards someone, you're like, that's a fake mustache.
Yeah.
Like if you could spot that, how much it would like creep you out.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
No good is going to come after you realize someone's wearing a fake mustache in that scenario.
It's that old saying, don't let someone in a fake mustache handcuff you.
My mother said it to me as she put me to bed as a child. Now, what did I tell you about handcuffing and fake mustache?
Handcuffs on a little Karen. So they bring Rick and Randy down to the museum's basement, which they seem to know the location of. They put duct tape around their eyes and heads, and there's a fucking photo of this, too.
It fucks up their hair.
Yeah. They handcuff them to a pipe in the basement, and they head back upstairs, and now they have complete run of the museum. So the thieves spend a total of 81 minutes in the museum, which is like longer than I spend just looking at art. Like that's a long fucking time in a museum.
It's like they had an actual trip to the museum.
Right. They wanted a solo. And actually, this is unheard of in the world of heists. Most art thefts on this level would be done in about 3 minutes. So 81 minutes. So it makes you think maybe they're not experienced.
Not experienced, or bring back my theory, they were stoned too.
Everybody's stoned.
You're like, go down that. Oh, what's down there? We could take that.
That's trippy. Okay, so Anthony Amore is now the museum's security director. He didn't work there at the time, though. He says that the time that they spent there shows that the thieves were completely confident that they had the run of the place, so they somehow knew that, and they were right. So after the 2 guards and that panic button, there's no other line of defense. The thieves move around the museum as if they're very well acquainted with the layout and with the security procedures. So we know most of what happens next from the printouts from the museum's motion detectors. The thieves go directly to a gallery called the Dutch Room, which is called that because it houses the museum's collection of Dutch paintings.
That tracks.
There, they steal Rembrandt's The Storm of the Sea of Galilee, which is his only seascape. It's fucking gorgeous. I would have gone for that one too.
Is it really big?
It's really big. They take it out of the frame. They also steal a Vermeer painting called The Concert, which is also gorgeous. Vermeer, who's best known for A Girl with a Pearl Earring, he worked really slowly, so he didn't produce very many paintings in his lifetime. And this is one of only about 35 surviving Vermeer paintings known to exist. So these are priceless. Mm-hmm. Actually, they're not, though. The Vermeer is the most valuable work stolen and is, in fact, the most valuable stolen object ever.
What?
With a current value of $250 million.
Oh, for one painting.
Yeah. You think they'd put just like maybe 3 security guards on this, you know?
When one with short hair.
And one who's not a stoner.
I'm not judging 90s long perm guys, but seriously.
Yeah. So after they take the 2 most valuable works that they end up taking, the thieves take 4 other works from the Dutch room. There doesn't seem to be a ton of rhyme or reason to the rest of what they take. They take a tiny Rembrandt sketch, which is screwed into an ornate frame, and they take the time to unscrew all of the screws from the frame for this less valuable sketch while they are standing under a much more valuable painting. So it doesn't make sense why. It's like almost like, did someone request that specific painting? Possibly. They also take an ancient Chinese ku, which is a vessel for wine, and it's not as expensive as some of the other works in the room, but it's also not particularly easy to grab. It's not like they just like whoop and put it in their coat on the way out. It's bolted to the table it's on and has to be unscrewed as well.
Wow.
So Amore, the current security director, believes that the thieves went to the Dutch room in search of Rembrandt specifically. Only of the 6 works they take from that room, only 4 are actually Rembrandts. Then they move on to a gallery called the Short Room, and here they take 5 Degas sketches. They also attempt to take a Napoleonic flag. Like, they want a flag, but not the fucking frames. Like, that's how are you going to walk out onto the street, the busy street, you know, of drunk people?
Maybe they worked at Michael's and they're like, we'll just reframe these ourselves.
That's a good point. It's too difficult to take, so they just take the little eagle statue at the top of the fucking flagpole, which is called finial.
No.
They take that instead. Right? Doesn't make sense.
Stoned.
Experts will guess that the finial and the ku were taken as trophies and not intended to sell. And like, I think it's almost like the ku could have been like, it's Mother's Day soon, and like, yoink, you grab that for your mom. You know,
here's a vase with a hole at the bottom. Good luck.
Right. So one more painting is stolen that night for a total of 13 pieces. It's from a gallery downstairs from the Dutch room and the Short Room. This gallery is called the Blue Room. And there the thieves take a Manet painting called Chez Tortoni. And there's something strange about this last item, though. In the 81 minutes the thieves are in the museum, the motion detectors don't pick up any movement at all in the Short Room, which is weird. Later, it will be determined that the detectors were working and it would have been virtually impossible to take a painting off the wall in that room without getting triggered. But it doesn't get triggered. And this part still baffles the investigators. So finally at 2:41 a.m., the thieves leave the museum through the same side door they used to enter. But before they do, they go back down to the basement where Rick and Randy are chilling. They're still cuffed to the pipe and say, quote, "Don't tell him nothing. If you're good, expect a reward in a year. We know where you live. We have your driver's license. We know where you live," end quote.
That's so scary.
I know.
That's such an effective threat.
Yeah. You know where you live.
They're just trying to jam band, guys.
Yeah. They don't harsh, they're mellow.
Mm-hmm.
When the next pair of security guards show up for their shift, they find the empty security desk, so they know something's wrong, and they call the Boston police, who then discover Rick and Randy in the basement and the pillaged galleries in the museum. So shit hits the fan. So the story sends shockwaves throughout Boston and throughout the art world. The total value of the stolen work is estimated to be around $200 million at the time, though now the value is estimated to be about $500 million.
Wow.
Yeah. The Boston Bureau of the FBI takes the case, and initially people speculate that the works have either been stolen by some secret collector who simply wants the art or by someone planning to ransom the artwork. And this is because some of the artworks, like the Vermeer, is way too recognizable and valuable to sell on the black market.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, which I never thought about, where it's like, don't get the most obvious paintings, get the one people won't recognize if you're going to steal shit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was picturing like there's some evil billionaire who's got like a secret library where he's like only the people he's really trying to impress, he brings there and he's like, look, my stolen Vermeer.
Exactly. Which could actually be the answer. Who knows? And in the days, weeks, and then years following the theft, many different theories emerge. The first theory is our buddy Rick Abbott. Good old Otto. The first theory is that this heist was an inside job, and that doesn't look great for Rick Abbott. The more experienced security guard who played in a jam band, that's the one. And there are several reasons for this. The first is simply that Rick is the one who opened the side door to the fake police officers when they fucking came knocking. This was explicitly against museum protocol.
Oh.
His training would have told him to ask for the names and badge numbers and to call the Boston PD to confirm that there were officers dispatched to the museum.
Yeah.
So that's a big fuck up right there.
Yes.
Like, that's the protocol, not just show me your badge. He didn't ask them to see the badges, I guess.
Well, and also it would be like, if that was the case, you would have to go through that protocol. You have to report this, just people showing up to the police.
Right. Because people can dress in a cop uniform and not be real.
They can slap on a fake mustache and scare the shit out of you.
That's right. That's all it takes. So the security guards are not supposed to let anybody into the museum at all after hours. And that said, basically no one follows this rule. The museum director herself would sometimes bring guests to the museum after hours, and the security guards were expected to let her in. So she's having her fucking dinner party or whatever, and she's like, you guys want to see something cool?
You come down here because I have that girl with the golden tattoo, and I come down here. No, it'd be funny. It'll be funny.
The second reason is that mysterious lack of motion detection in the Blue Room where the Chez Tortoni was taken. The motion detectors recorded nothing during the heist, but they did record Rick's own motion throughout the room earlier in the evening when he was doing his rounds. So why did they turn off right after him? Did he flip a switch? I don't know how it works. Also, while all the other paintings had been removed from their frames and those frames were left in the galleries, the frame for Chez Tortoni was left on the chair behind the security desk.
Oh.
Why would they be behind the security desk, you know?
Well, because they're turning off cameras, maybe.
That's a good point. The third reason investigators take a hard look at Rick is because security records from the night of the heist show that Rick had opened and closed that same side door where the thieves came in later about 20 minutes before he buzzed in the thieves, which is specifically also against protocol. Why would you open and close the door? It's almost
Practice.
Like you're sending a signal or practice.
Oh,
right.
Sending a signal, yeah.
Rick says he would do this every night, though, to make sure the door was locked. But it's also against museum protocol, and investigators are unable to confirm if that's true, that he did this regularly.
If it was one of those push bar doors that's at like junior highs, I could see where you'd be like, oh, I'm trying to see if this is locked, and you accidentally open it. If it's a door with a normal door handle or a round doorknob or whatever, you don't need to open it all the way to make
open
sure.
And close it.
Yeah. You're just like, you should know whether it's locked or not locked as a security guard. Isn't that one of the specialties that you need to have?
Knowing the doors are locked.
So you don't have to open a door all the way out into the goddamn parking lot before you know.
Right.
I just want to say I'm only saying that devil's advocate. I'm actually on Rick's side.
I actually am too. I was going to say at the end of this, even though like so much of the evidence points to him and it being an inside job, I don't think he did that. But the last reason is that he did just give 2 weeks notice at the museum.
Oh, mm-hmm. So someone's like...
Another red flag.
Yeah. It's almost like get this one thing and you could maybe get paid off to, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of help
Sotheby's?
out, facilitate. Sotheby's. The man from Sotheby's comes down and puts $1,000 in your security guard front pocket and says, hey man, open that door a couple times for it. Test it out.
So it looks very odd, but Rick has never been charged, and there's never been any real true evidence that he had anything to do with the heist. He lives very modestly in rural Vermont, and when tracked down by reporters, he talks freely about the night of the robbery.
He didn't do it.
I don't think he did it either, including in that podcast he's interviewed, and, you know, shocking to no one, he's a character and like is totally open about it. The podcast, again, is Last Seen.
Also, it's like, sorry, but it just reminds me of those kind of jobs that you get when it's like someone's dad is on the board of this museum and it's like a friend and they're like, hey, if you need a nighttime job, you can go, you know, we know you're a good person.
Totally.
Like it does feel like the happenstance could absolutely come together that you're just like, yeah, it's a small museum no one cares about or like that isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Totally. It's not like the Boston Museum. And actually, he says, quote, for some reason, you know, I seem to be the only person involved in this thing who doesn't give a fuck who did it. I seem to be the only one who's not trying to figure it out. And that mainly comes down to, I'm glad to be alive, end quote.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because, yeah, they could have killed him. He saw their faces. There is sketches.
He was a victim of this.
Exactly.
It's easy to go, it's an inside job because that's, you know, that's pretty standard. But if these guys were serious, like art heist people, who knows what they would have done? They could, you know, it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Totally. Totally. That's like a big job for someone for an amateur.
Yes. Yes.
So another theory in 1994, the museum director, Anne Hawley, receives an anonymous letter from someone claiming to be a broker on behalf of the person who stole the painting.
Ooh.
The letter says that they had been stolen as leverage to reduce someone's prison sentence, but that opportunity had passed. And this comes up a lot in Last Scene, is that it's collateral. Like, if they bust me for something else, I'll have this to like get out of my sentence for like my drug bust.
A gigantic painting from 1555 or whatever. Wow.
Like, it's collateral. The letter writer tells the museum to communicate through ads in the Boston Globe, and they do. But after a brief back and forth, the anonymous letter writer stops responding. So the other theory is various members and associates of the Merlino crew. And so here's when the mob comes in, and they come in hot. It involves many different members of the mob, most of whom were associated with each other, and many of whom tried to take credit for stealing the paintings at one time or the other. The problem is that most of them seem not to have had anything to do with the thefts after all. Most of the people mentioned are affiliated with a mob boss named Carmelo Merlino, and he works out of an automotive shop not far from the Gardner Museum. And in 1998, the FBI learns through an informant that Merlino is claiming to have the paintings, but when the FBI approaches him, offering him immunity for a different major theft in exchange for the paintings, he admits that he doesn't have them, but who knows?
Oh, so he's like lying to try to get clout that he did have them?
I'm sure. I think people are doing that, yeah. But that also, maybe they did actually have them. So other Merlino associates also become tied to the heist. One is named David Turner. And after an FBI sting within that auto body shop, Turner was sentenced to 38 years in prison for several thefts and violent crimes. Then in 2016, a reporter noticed that his prison sentence had been shortened by 7 years without explanation. Right? Because David had insinuated at other times that he had information related to the Gardner heist, some people think that he gave the FBI credible information about it, and that's why his sentence had been reduced.
Would that have been the one that they were talking about before? The
could have been
in exchange for?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some people believe that David worked with a man named George Reisfelder. So another man named Robert Beauchamp is a former cellmate of George's who had also been romantically involved with him. Robert says that he and George had talked about the idea of stealing valuable artwork as a sort of crime insurance. So if they get caught for dealing drugs or something, blah, 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 they would have these valuable paintings to bargain with.
They're hoping that they're going to get arrested by Poirot or some cop that gives a single shit about fine art. What's the idea?
It's weird. It's like to commit a crime to get out of another crime in the future. You know what I mean? It's like saying, like when they arrest the lowest guy in the mob, they don't want him. They want him to rat on the highest guy.
Oh, right.
It's almost like, if you give me a lenient sentence on this legit drug charge, I'll give you the paintings.
Oh, we'll give them back.
Exactly.
Got you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I was like, what cop cares this much about Impressionism?
No, they're giving them back essentially, because that's how badly the museum wanted them back. And like the FBI and the police, like this should have been solvable. And they stole such important pieces that they would have given you immunity on other things to get them back.
Okay.
So Robert says that George took this idea back to David Turner and other members of the Merlino crew. Robert says he wasn't involved in the heist, but when he read about it in the paper, he said, quote, "way too much, George," end quote, meaning you should have taken something way smaller than the fuck. This is bigger than your dumb drug bust that you're going to eventually get, you know?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like when you go to a museum and you walk in, you know, those rooms where there's the paintings that are literally like 20 feet wide by 40 feet high. Like, just like, here you go. Can I exchange this for my coke dealing mistake? Like,
this is a monopoly. So there's another piece of compelling evidence that points to George's involvement. When the FBI sketches come out based on descriptions of Randy and Rick, many, many people say that one of the two thieves looks strikingly like George Reisfelder. And he does, but it's also like, so does a lot of people, you know? It's like a fucking etch-a-sketch of or what's the one that you put the beard on?
Oh, yeah. The magnet one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, looks like anyone, kind of, you know?
Does he have a round red nose?
Yeah. And a fake mustache. So George Ricefielder dies in 1991, a year after the heist. So after his death, his brother gets in contact with Anthony Amore, the museum security director. He asks to meet and see the images of the stolen artwork. So Amore shows him every piece, and each time he says he's never seen any. The brother's like, never seen it, never seen it. And the last image Amore shows him is of Shea Tortoni. Amore says, quote, "When he saw it, I can only describe it as jumped in his chair and became very upset and told me, 'Anthony, I have to tell you, I've seen that painting in my brother's apartment.'"
Oh, shit.
End quote. He was very upset. It was visceral. He was teary-eyed. And he said, quote, "My brother did it. My brother did it. He had that painting," end quote.
He kept the Manet for himself.
Over his fucking couch in his apartment. That's what's so amazing about this thing is like, when you listen to the podcast, it's like, I don't think people know where they are anymore. So much time has gone. It's probably changed hands so many times. It's hidden in someone's wall that doesn't even fucking know it, that didn't even live there at the time.
Yep.
And like, where is it?
I also like to imagine that there's a kind of like simultaneous Goodwill Hunting style character who is like, he's just going about his normal day blue collar worker, but he actually loves like certain eras of painting. And like, he's just like, I've always wanted a Manet or something.
Yeah.
He's like, no one suspects him. No one, you walk through and you're like, oh, that's clearly from Z Gallery. It's like, it's actually not. That's the real thing.
I mean, this shit could have gone, like, he had it framed over his couch. He dies. They gave it to Goodwill. Like, some hipster girl can have it in her bathroom right now and not even know what it is.
That's the beauty of the art business.
Thrifting. Like, I love that. I love when you're like, I don't know what this is worth. It could be worth anything.
Well, and that is my favorite like documentary, or like the lady that found the Jackson Pollock in the garbage can.
Exactly.
And then the art world was like, it's not real, because they couldn't handle the idea that now they have to give that lady $46 million or however much it was worth.
That's amazing. George's apartment had been searched. No painting had been recovered. And his brother has also died in the years since that meeting with Amore. So that's kind of a dead end. Okay, here's the last theory I have for you, and it involves none other than Whitey Bulger.
Oh, yeah, because it's Boston.
Yeah. So there is relatively little evidence here, but it's that the heist was the work of notorious Boston crime boss Whitey Bulger. Bulger was a fugitive between 1994 and 2011, as we know, and was deeply involved in organized crime in Boston, as we also know.
As we know.
He also has ties to the Boston police, which some people think may have been why the thieves had such convincing police uniforms on. I wonder how much police involvement there was going on, too. It could have actually been two police officers, for all we fucking know.
Hey, we all saw The Departed. We know what those guys can be like.
Exactly. Allegedly. Everything here is allegedly.
Allegedly. It just is my opinion.
So Bulger had ties to, of course, the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. Did you know that?
Simply must have it. Well, that's very common for people. Apparently, there's a story of my Uncle Martin kind of like getting brought to an IRA meeting when he was in the army, because he was in, I can't remember if he was in Boston or New York City. And it was like the people that he was with, and then they had stopped by, and it was like an actual IRA meeting.
Oh my
and
God.
He was just like, it was real intense. Because I mean, he was like he wasn't there to plot or scheme or anything. But I think that might be a little, I don't know. That seems realistic to me.
Yeah, it makes sense. And this is 1990. So shit is like, it's a hotbed.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And IRA actually does have a history of art theft. So one former Scotland Yard detective named Charles Hill says he believes Bulger oversaw the heist and shipped the paintings to Ireland as part of a deal with the IRA. Hill says that Bulger would have done this to make up for a shipment of weapons, which had been intended for Ireland, but it was intercepted in the 80s.
Huh.
So it's like, sorry about that. Here's some really expensive paintings.
Here's a beautiful painting. So you don't have to think about arms, your revolutionary arms.
Right. So Hill also says that setting off a fire alarm before an operation is a calling card of the IRAs. And a fire alarm had gone off in the museum's carriage house earlier in the evening before the heist.
Oh.
So interesting tidbits. All right. Anyways, in 2013, here's where we are now. The FBI called a big press conference saying they knew with a high degree of confidence that the paintings had been brought to Philadelphia through Connecticut, and that they were likely to be able to release more information soon. But it's been 10 years since that announcement, and there's never been any follow-up. Like, I wonder, they have to know. And they just like, it's too big to talk about kind of a thing, right?
It's on the level of Epstein, but it's just art. It's art. So it's like classier. But it's that same thing where it's like, we can't talk about who's involved in this.
Right. Totally. And it's likely that they were referring to yet another pair of mobsters who have since been proven not to have been involved. So they might have been wrong to begin with. Anthony Amore is still the museum's head of security. He remains haunted and obsessed with the case, but he also says that he believes that he knows who perpetrated the heist itself, but he doesn't say. The FBI said that they believe the two people who committed the actual theft are dead. What nobody knows is where the paintings are today. Check your mother-in-law's house.
For real, get up in that attic.
Yeah. Isabella Stewart Gardner's will specified that nothing about the museum should ever change after her death, which is like probably why there's no vending machines in it. That's a bummer.
Wait, did you say there was no vending machines at the beginning?
No, but I'm guessing there aren't. And I got bummed because I want to snack while I look at the fucking paintings, right?
They don't have that one, like that coffee machine that drops the cup and then it's like, right. Here's like, they'll make you a mocha right there. And it's like so off brand, but still incredibly delicious. Not allowed.
I wonder if they can change the employee lounge area, if it's still like 1900s employee lounge style. It's like a coal burning stove.
Isabella, seriously, you have to go in there and make yourself some hardtack and a piece of like bacon fat to have lunch.
Right. You can't heat up your lean cuisine or whatever at lunch.
No microwaves.
Such a bummer. Okay, so because the paintings and the works of art were in her will to stay in the places she chose for them, for the stolen works, the museum staff placed the empty frames back on the wall where they have hung for the past 33 years.
Wow.
So it's like a reminder. Isn't that cool?
It's very cool.
There's photos of that. That's like these gorgeous rooms and these incredible works of art and then these huge empty frames.
Stolen.
Amore says, quote, "If you were a homicide detective, you'd go to the scene and see the taped outline of the person on the floor. I come in here every day and these are my taped impressions," end quote.
Wow.
So I think it probably stings a little for him, you know?
Yeah.
And that is the story of the 1990 Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Now I want to listen to that podcast. Last Scene?
Last Scene, and there's also a documentary about it that's good. But the last scene, I mean, you know, audio, you can go so deep with audio.
Support that audio. That's the good stuff. Wow. Great job. That was really good.
Thank you.
It's weird because you started talking about it and then I was like, you told me it was the 90s, but then it was like, it seems like long, long ago.
33 years ago, which is
a long time ago. It's like pre cell phones.
Yeah.
Like none of the things they could have done or would have done. It was a very ignorant/innocent time.
Totally.
It'd be interesting to know what really happened.
I know. I want to know so bad, but I'm just convinced it's buried somewhere. Someone forgot about it and died and didn't tell anyone, or told someone and that guy died. And
it's just rolled up in like underneath some couch cushions and someone's going to find it. Someone's going to find it.
Someday someone's going to find it. Cookie just poked her nose in looking at me. So I think that means it's the end of the show. She can tell.
That's the cue. Oh, yeah. And also the second story's done. So, I mean, we're done. That's it.
That's it. That's the other cue.
And guess what? If we talked for 5 more minutes, I would have been right. An hour and 45 minutes.
I did not expect that. Oh my God.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Look, we'll cut right to it. You fill in for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm talking to the listener.
Yeah, go for it.
Listener, you can talk for 5 more minutes and we're going to go like, yeah, and pretend to listen to you. Just kidding. We're leaving. Stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, do you want a cookie?
This has been an Exactly Right production.
Our senior producer is Alejandra Keck.
Our managing producer is Hannah Kyle Creighton.
Our editor is Aristotle Acevedo.
This episode was mixed by Liana Squillace.
Our researchers are Maren McClashin and Allie Elkin.
Email your hometowns to myfavoritemurder@gmail.com.
Follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at myfavoritemurder and Twitter at myfavemurder. Goodbye. The best time to think about home security is before you need it.
That's exactly why there's Simply Safe.
Traditional home security only alerts you after a break-in has already happened, and that's too late. Simply Safe is changing that.
Simply Safe's US-based live agents identify threats on your property and help deter them so intruders never get to your house.
The system is customizable so you can build one that fits your home and your specific needs.
The 24/7 professional monitoring is effective and affordable and won't lock you into a long-term contract.
I think that's what's so scary for so many people is that long-term contract. And like, what if it turns out you don't like it or need it, but they don't have that because they know you'll like it and you'll know that you need it and feel so much safer when you have it. Like at this point in my life, I would never go without a security system on my house. I just feel safer with actually having Simply Safe around.
There's a whole staff at Simply Safe that's waiting to talk to you and help you out. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplysafe.com/MFM.
That's half off at simplysafe.com/MFM.
There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Goodbye. The kids are back in school. Now it's your turn to head back to the beach.
During Cheap Caribbean's Back to Beach sale, save $200 site-wide on vacation packages of 4 nights or more with code 200BEACH.
Trade school drop-offs for beach walks, lunch boxes for beach bars, and your daily routine for adults-only relaxation.
Use code 200BEACH and get more beach for less money.
Book your beach vacay today at cheapcaribbean.com. Goodbye.
Bye.
In the summer, healthy habits are easy to keep. Until you leave the house.
You walk out the door, and the next thing you know, you're barefoot and feral in a gas station candy aisle.
That's why Kachava makes it easy to maintain your routines.
Kachava is an all-in-one nutrition shake, and now it comes in new travel packs.
Every packet gives you a simple shake with protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, greens, probiotics, omegas, electrolytes, and more.
They're easy to toss into a bag, easy to take on the road, and a simple way to stick with your normal wellness habits, even when your schedule changes.
Man, that Kachava matcha in the individual packs is like my dream snack. It's exactly what I need and want in between the like not great meals I'm eating for lunch and the snacks I would have had anyways that are terrible for me. Like this is something I feel like I'm treating myself when I take.
You're treating yourself to vitamins, fiber, all these things that your body really wants and needs and kind of craves that it does seem like it takes a big effort to get. So now you're getting it all in one packet and in a little drink you like.
Take your daily ritual with you.
Go to Kachava.com and use code MFM for 15% off your first order.
That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com, code MFM.
Goodbye.